So, Halloween just happened, and I realized that I didn't really get into the Halloween spirit this year. Because of this, I've been catching up on my Halloween movies, and I recently rewatched The Corpse Bride. The Corpse Bride is one of those movies that I watch every year to get into the spooky season. When I watched it recently, I realized just how great it is, and I'd say how underrated this movie is. There were 2 points that really stood out as the main reasons that this movie is so good, and those are the animation and art direction and the music. So before I get into the points that make the movie so good, let me give you a brief summary of the plot. So we start off with our protagonist Victor, whose parents have set him up to be married to Victoria in order to get into high society. They meet and have a wedding practice where Victor messes up so badly that he runs out the door and into the forest. He practices his vows there and finally does them perfectly and puts the ring on a nearby branch. But this is no branch. This is the hand of Emily, who died after trying to elope with a man who killed her for money. Emily brings Victor down to the land of the dead. Victor is confused, but he ends up convincing her to go upstairs and meet his parents. He tries to sneak out and meet Victoria, but he is caught and brought back down. Meanwhile, Victoria has been married off to Lord Barkis, and when Victor hears about this, he decides to get officially married to Emily by drinking poison in the land of the living. He almost does this, but Emily decides in the end to let him go with Victoria. Then Lord Barkis shows up and they realize that he is actually the man who Emily tried to elope with, and he is the killer of Emily. Being the confident man that he is, he takes the wine off the table and drinks it, but that wine was actually poison. So the dead people get him and they all live happily ever after. I mean, this is a lot of plot, but they managed to get this done in just over an hour. And they managed this with the use of music and art design. This movie stands out to me as one of Tim Burton's best movies when it comes to visuals. The Corpse Bride is sort of the culmination of all the practice in stop motion that he's had over the years. The visual direction utilizes the exaggerated characters and contrasting colors of The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it is made much better by having the ability to use more modern techniques to make everything smooth and realistic. The animation is the base of this movie, but the main thing that builds the mood is the art direction and color. In the land of the living, the characters are either short and plump or tall and skinny. This is especially prevalent in the depiction of the 2 families of the Van Dorts and the Everglades. Victor's father is tall and skinny with a plump wife, and Victor's mother is tall and skinny with a short, fat husband. This creates some tension between the 2 families, but it mainly reveals the conformist culture of this town by having the same 2 types of character bodies for every living person. This is also built upon with the color, which starts off mostly gray in the land of the living, but switches to vibrant landscapes and character designs in the land of the dead. The last technique used to make this movie so good is the music. The score was made by Danny Elfman, who created most of the songs for Tim Burton's movies. Now, when I say music, I'm not talking about the orchestral music in the background, although that is good. I'm talking about the absolute bops that came off this movie. Two songs greatly affect the vibe of the movie, and those are According to Plan and Remains of the Day. According to Plan is a tense and foreboding song that purposefully drags and sets the scene for the movie. This song also is about something that should be good and exciting, but it feels like the people singing it are almost disappointed. On the other hand, Remains of the Day is a peppy, fun song that's about murder, but it's still the most upbeat song of the whole movie. All of these points build contrast, which shows the wonky theme of this movie. The plot isn't the most amazing thing, but The Corpse Bride is still one of the best Tim Burton movies because of its amazing art direction and animation and its music. So overall, I give this movie, I think, a 9 out of 10.